I've always loved rivers. They seem to animate the landscape and bring it to life. When I was a kid, we'd visit relatives out in West Colorado. Even then, I could tell rivers here in the desert were different than the ones where I grew up. They were kind of raw and unpredictable. Later, my wife and I began to visit Phoenix, where she grew up. For the first time, I was introduced to the canals and irrigated lawns that had made this into an oasis city. I learned that the Indians who'd farmed the Phoenix area originally had built irrigation canals too, but they had no way of saving water. In seasons when the river flow went down, they suffered. Today that problem is solved with a group of dams that collect river water into reservoirs. This makes it possible to sustain a large city like Phoenix in the middle of a desert. The natural watershed includes the Salt and Verde rivers on the east and the Agua Fria River on the north. Added to that, the Central Arizona Project Canal brings Colorado River water across the desert from Lake Havasu. Desert rivers may be small, but these reservoirs collect years and years of the river's output and preserve it for our use. A reservoir is like a time machine. Many of us are glad the great age of dam building is over. Today we want to preserve wild rivers wherever we find them. Still, there's no reason we can't appreciate the beauty of this unusual landscape. Half natural and half man-made, it's a desert river that's a city river too. Since ancient Babylon, desert cities have had fountains and pools to refresh people and animals. It's an idea that goes beyond survival toward enjoyment. An oasis city implies pleasure. The Salt River is collected at the Granite Reef Dam and diverted into two canals. The ancient riverbed is emptied of its river. Strange to stand here at the bottom of the riverbed as it passes through downtown Phoenix, with just a trickle of water to keep the reeds and cottonwoods green. I hope these paintings help people notice how beautiful this watershed is. Far from being unspoiled nature, the natural rivers have been transformed into a man-made landscape that keeps the city alive. Frank Lloyd Wright said, "Here in Arizona we live a little closer to the apocalypse." I think he meant he could see how fragile the whole water supply system is here, how little it would take to disrupt it. If the reservoirs last long enough, maybe hundreds of years, the rivers will fill them up with silt and the dams will become waterfalls. Until then, though, we're here, and we can enjoy the personality of these lakes, creeks, and canals. Which river is the swimming pool in your backyard? Lake Bartlett is the Verde River, Saguaro Lake is the Salt River. The Arizona Canal is both of them mixed with the Colorado and the Agua Fria. We drink them and swim in them and praise them for their beauty. Water is life.